what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the 157 show. Once again, my name is Jonathan. Sitting over here is Auburn Austin.
No, we're dropping that.
Oh, we're going to drop it already?
After the Georgia State game, we're done.
All right.
I'm just Austin now.
I liked Auburn Austin, though.
I did
it
too,
fit.
but when they win the LSU this weekend, I'll go
You
back
got a lot
to
of
it.
confidence in that.
I do. We'll talk about that in the next video.
Okay. All right. So, now, guys, we're going to talk about the Week 4 review of the Auburn-Alabama games. Alabama, of course, handled business as always. I say as always, and they're going to get their ass whooped this weekend. But I was pretty, happy with the offense, how they executed, everything was clicking right for them. Again, it was a lesser team, but they were on point. No slumps, I guess, against a lower competition. No dig at Auburn there, but I was happy with the way things looked. I'm pretty sure
it's hard not to be confident when it's 35-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, it's a talent difference, though. Alabama gets 5 stars, Southern Miss gets 2 stars, 1 star.
I don't know. All I know is they have one of the worst coaches of all time. And I'm just quoting him.
That's what he said.
I looked it up, and I have a quote somewhere on my phone. I was like, he really did say that.
I told you
yeah,
really said that.
I looked it up, yeah. So, what could you expect? The GOAT versus one of the worst of all time.
Yeah.
In Southern Miss.
Yeah, again, like I said, I was happy with the execution. I was happy with defense, offense, special teams scoring what, two kickoff returns.
Yeah, so
Jamison Williams, fast as freaking lightning, bro. He's rolling. And he's, as much as Mechie is supposed to be the number one guy, Jamison Williams is killing it.
But see, Mechie, I think, is a number one guy. But I think that
he does get a lot of attention.
Is it Williams? Yeah, Williams.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of attention as well, but he also kind of has that play factor or
he's got
playmaking factor that you're talking about with these kickoff returns.
Yeah.
So he had 2 in the game, which is, I think, only the 3rd player ever in FBS history
That's pretty solid.
To have those.
See, look, you're telling me stuff I didn't even know.
I think that's what it is. Don't quote me. I'm pretty confident there's only 2 other players that's had 2 kickoff returns.
Well, congratulations to him then.
Yeah. And he's an Ohio State guy.
Yeah, he's not Alabama guy now. We welcome him.
Yeah.
Arms open.
Yeah, he could be up there making, killing it.
Exactly. But no, in all seriousness, he has kind of stepped up and become the number one guy, more or less. Mechie is still there. Mechie's still making plays. But Jamison Williams has an elite speed to get open, and you see it in the Miami game. You see it during these kickoffs in this last game. The speed is that's his forte, I guess. He can outrun anybody. I don't know exactly how fast he runs. I don't know his 40 time, but I imagine it's somewhere in the 4.3s, maybe 4.2. Higher 4.2s.
He's hauling it.
He's moving. But another thing too, I don't know if you know this. This past win was Alabama's 100th win against unranked competition, which extends the longest streak in AP history, AP poll history.
So it was 99 prior to this.
It was 99. Now it is 100.
Yeah.
It was 100 wins against unranked opponents without a loss. The last one was 2007 in the Louisiana Monroe game.
Yep.
That nobody really cares to want to remember. It was a low point. But
no. You got to remember it, though, because that was the start.
It was.
That was the start
that's what
of the
I'm saying.
streak.
It was the low point, and then we've climbed ourselves out of that and have become the gold standard again. I'm just saying. That's what it is.
Have you seen Georgia play this year?
Georgia? No, we're not going to talk about that right now.
All right.
Georgia's.
Yeah. No, we're good. I just wanted to,
I got my opinions on Georgia. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
But no. Again, I was happy with them. It was a great win overall. I think this team is getting on the right track, getting forward, looking ahead to this game coming up. I was happy with their performance, and I'm hoping we can continue that moving into that next week.
Yeah, Ole Miss. So one thing I found interesting was this 600 yards of total offense versus Southern Miss, which is good, but also there's like 700 yards versus Ole Miss last year. So we'll touch more on that in the next video
where
we're doing the preview. You gotta make sure to check that out.
Coming in.
Shameless plug, right?
Shameless plug right now.
So,
yeah.
But no, I found that interesting. They put up so many yards of offense. I know, not shocked, but it's still a lot of offense.
And you know what I find funny is last year after the game, supposedly when the coaches come and shook their hands at the end of the game, Saban and Kiffin, one of the first things Kiffin said to Saban was, "I thought they played defense in the SEC."
Oof.
And it was, I don't know if that was a dig at him or if it was just a dig at both teams or what. But
I mean,
they both.
We're going to deviate too much if we keep talking about
I know,
this.
I understand that. But it's just one of them things, looking forward to this game coming up. It's, I'm hoping it's not going to be what it was last year. Based off the defense from Southern Miss, I hope we bring that defense coming in. So
for sure. One other thing that I have, and I'm going to have to refer to my notes because I'm not as familiar with that amount of players, but the tight end Billingsley,
yeah, Jaleel
so
Billingsley, out of the doghouse, by the way. He's been in the doghouse.
Okay. Well, he had a 100-yard receiving game, which was the first since the 2013 season. See,
and he's a playmaker, though.
I had to do the research on that one. It was interesting.
He's a playmaker, and he was in a doghouse. Supposedly, he wasn't doing things he's supposed to do. I've seen different things. People say different things, but it was going to class, putting in effort at practice and stuff like that. He expected his spot more than just competed for it. And at Alabama, you can't do that. 4 or 5 stars right there behind you, ready to take your spot.
Deep.
I mean, 3, 4 deep, literally. Yeah. But I mean, that's a big achievement for him. I mean, in 7, 8 years. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't quote the last tight end that did it. I can't do it, but it was Alabama, obviously, but I
can't think in the top of my head,
Starts with an I, that's all I know.
2013, who it would be.
Oh, no. What happened in 2013? Give me 1 second. Is that 2 in a row?
We don't want to talk about that right now.
Is that 2 in a row? That's 2 videos in a row. We got to move on for that. Yeah.
We can't.
That's like Auburn also.
We don't want to talk about kick six. I don't like to talk about. Go ahead. Anyway, so that's pretty much all I had with Alabama game. I mean, it was a great win. It was lower competition, but we still won handily. But speaking of close games, Auburn, Austin.
Oh yeah,
Austin.
Yeah. So Georgia State, man. Yeah, I got roasted in the comments.
You now I want to reflect back to this what you said in the previous video. It's not even going to be a game. The starters will be in the second quarter. Be out in the second quarter.
So if you look at the final score, it wasn't a game, and that's all that matters. We'll move on.
If you can look at the final score, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you actually watch the game, that's a totally different story.
So how do you want to approach? How do you want to approach this? Do you want to start with the quarterback controversy? Do you want to talk with like the special teams playing good, the defensive adjustments? Where do you want to start?
Because I was flipping back and forth between a couple different games at the time. I didn't get a chance to see Bo Nix get pulled. So what? Tell me what happened with that.
So I'm gonna kind of combine these two, the controversy and the special teams play, just kind of make things a little bit more
streamlined.
Yeah, streamlined.
Okay.
For our viewers here.
All right.
So I felt like we were in the Gus Malzahn era for a minute because we had 9 points, 12 points. It was field goal after field goal. And I was just really confused. I was like, man, I thought we'd be going for it. Why are we having these stalled drives? What's the issue here? Granted, I'm happy for the points. I'll take points, but sometimes you do have to do that punch.
Right.
So special teams play was great in terms of field goals. I think Anders was 4 out of 5 for the day. So I'll take that. And then the problem with it going to those stalled drives was the offense just looked flat.
Really?
Like, it just looked flat. He couldn't complete the deep ball. Nix was struggling. I really don't understand what was happening or why it was occurring. But when Finley came in, it was just like a whole different ball game.
Really?
Granted, the block punt beforehand kind of set everybody up to do that. Also, another.
I imagine that raised the morale.
Exactly.
Too.
That's another point to the special teams play. So I'll give him credit there. But when Finley came in, it was just a different atmosphere. It started with the block punt. I'll give him that. But
right.
You could just see it on the sidelines. You could hear it in the stadium. So I'm curious to see what's gonna happen.
Now, okay, so were they moving the ball in between the red zone? I mean, I was flipping between games, so I didn't see every bit of it. But like, what was happening? They got to the red zone and just kind of like stalled?
I didn't think they made it to the red zone during these attempts. Like I said, I missed some of the first half due to work, but I know they made it to red zone once, maybe twice, and they stalled. But prior to that, I think they stalled around the 40-yard line.
I know when I was watching, ESPN shows highlights from different games, yada yada. Well, when it popped up, it said, Georgia, was it Georgia Southern?
Georgia State.
Georgia State.
I keep wanting to say Southern, so
there's so many Georgia teams that's from there. It's not even funny, but. Yeah. Okay, so they were up like 12-9 or something, and they had just thrown a touchdown pass over there, and I was like, holy crap, that's when I texted you and I said, this is crazy, and I wouldn't think watching, the Penn State game and then going into this game, I'm like,
Yeah, so exactly.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I think that was an anomaly. I think it was just one of those things that occurs, and it's
Probably still down about about
so
losing.
you play a close game at Penn State, then you come home, and Auburn's looking to LSU. They haven't won there in 20 years. We'll talk about that in the preview episode, but haven't won there in 20 years. They're looking ahead. They're overlooking Georgia State.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but they are.
Right. But you can see what happens when you do.
Saw it, yeah.
I mean,
any given Saturday, a team can lose.
yeah. It's true.
So we were kind of talking about special teams and quarterback play. So I'll kind of just streamline into this. I'm kind of in between. Do I think that Finley's a starter? No, but he could very well be the starter. And that's
Now, we're going to see a 2 quarterback system?
No.
You think they're going to stick with one and roll with it?
Mm-hmm. So
Knicks?
if you ask me Sunday, Knicks. You ask me the day of recording, I'm 50-50. It could go either way. I don't have a preference, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that they're both decent quarterbacks, and whomever can progress the best, as in, reading downfield, reading your progressions quickly, stepping up in the pocket, running when you have to, but not at the first chance that you can run. Don't do that. But if you make these, adjustments and you get better, then I think that both quarterbacks are about equal, and we'll just kind of have to see who comes out ahead.
Right. I mean, to me, Finley has.
Well, he has like 30 pounds on Bo Nix. Let's go ahead and say that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got.
A couple inches, too.
And watching Bo Nix play, he likes to scramble out of the pocket, and he doesn't play on his feet. And I think that's one of the criticisms that they were giving him.
It's bad tendencies because he came in as a true freshman. I don't really think he's ever been challenged at Auburn for the starting position.
Right.
So, and we all know kind of Gus's record, not being able to develop a quarterback, having issues with development, and even regression with Jarrett Stidham. So he's behind the 8 ball.
Just, I don't know. They were talking about some of the criticism they were giving him was he's not, he's not planting his feet. He's not following through throws and stuff, but there's nobody around him giving any pressure. He's just not stopping to take the time to throw it, where it needs to go and taking his time. He's in a rush. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could see Finley definitely pushing him for that starting spot, but I think as of right now, it's his team, Bo Nix's team.
I think you know what? I'll just say it. I think Finley will get the start this weekend.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
Do you think that's just because of an LSU thing? Or
I don't think it's just because of LSU, but I think that is what pushes it over the top. Yeah. I think that it's the storyline.
Now, if Finley starts and Finley wins.
Oh, if Finley starts, it's Finley's team.
I could see it.
Because think about it. You got two scenarios here. One, Bo Nix starts, possibly hurt. We're not really sure about what's going on with his shoulder. Possibly hurt. He does bad. Okay?
Yeah.
You pull Finley. You pull him, putting Finley in. All right. Well, why were you starting a quarterback that you were automatically going to throw Finley in?
Yeah.
So you're putting your team behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
So the second scenario is you start Finley. He does bad or doesn't do well. You either stick with him, which is what I think will occur. But if you don't like it, then you can always put Bo Nix back in. So where do you go?
Yeah.
And I'm leaning towards Finley now. Like I said, Saturday morning or Sunday morning, I would have said Bo Nix all day. But hearing other people talk, reading comments, I'm going to go, I think Finley will get the start.
All right. Now, we talked about offense and defense.
What defense?
Exactly.
Oh, wait.
That's what I was getting at.
Second half defense was great. Phenomenal. And that shows you what happens when some of your playmakers are out. But we'll start with the first half. Go ahead.
I feel like the first half they were just getting sliced through with a knife.
Yeah, I'm going to have to refer to the notes here. The running back, I think his name was Tucker Gregg. His names are backwards in my opinion. But, hey, man, you balled out. 150 yards on 12 carries.
Yeah, the
team had 219 yards in the first half.
Now, just off that stat, you probably don't have this in your notes, but just off that stat, I'm probably going to bet that they controlled the clock for at least the first half, based off of stats like that.
Yeah, it's hard to look at it because they just give like a total time of possession on how I look at it. At least I'm not sure I'm sure they break it down somewhere, but not in my research. It was pretty much a 50-50 split. I think Auburn actually had the advantage on the time of possession, and more plays ran and more first downs.
But they just couldn't get it in the end zone.
Yeah. So Gus Malzahn error. I was really concerned with that.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of go from the first half and Tucker Gregg running over us or running over the defense to the second half when Zacoby McClain came back in and compared to 85 total yards in the second half.
Yeah, big difference there.
Big difference.
Now that's Derek Mason making changes though.
Well, see, that's the interesting. No one talks about the defensive adjustments.
Yep.
I've not read defensive adjustments all week, but Jacoby McClain.
That's because I think the big story is Finley and Bo Nix. I mean, this is a controversy now let me tell you what this is, more or less. This is Jalen Hurts to a situation in a way.
Not the same implications.
Not the same implications, but the same scenario. You had a starter that's a known starter that's been in the role for a couple years, and you have a new guy that's come in and, I mean, he kind of took over and ran the show. I mean, that's pretty much what it kind of compared tit for tat a little bit. But I mean, again, I think this is Bo Nix's team moving forward, and I think, just my opinion, I think the defense is going to be a big difference in the LSU game. I think you'll see them step up and make some plays.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, my prediction, I have a gut feeling that LSU is going to win this game. I don't know why, but I have a gut feeling LSU is going to win this game. I'm just saying. That's my prediction for that.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
That's all. That's it.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about the preview.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Jacoby McClain made a big difference, and you saw that. It was evident. Kalen Newton. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to special teams.
That's the block. That block.
Kalen Newton, Cam's younger brother, blocked the punt. That kind of like set up everything, set the ball in motion.
What time was that? Not a touchdown?
Yeah.
It was a touchdown.
Brendan Lester, I think, he
recovered.
Yeah, he recovered it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of like I said, and I think the drive after that is when Finley came in.
Gotcha.
So another thing, TD Moultrie, he balled out too. So I'll give it to the defense in the second half. I'm proud of them. But man, the first half was rough.
Now, what's going on with Auburn's running game? The Tank and
Jarquez Hunter balled out. He had like 6.5 yards per carry was his average.
Really?
Yeah. Now Tank was struggling. I think he was somewhere in like the 2.6 or 3, but
struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, both.
Well, see, the thing
overall
is,
as a team, though, still struggling a bit.
It's hard to say that you're struggling when they're putting 10 people in the box.
Yeah.
And you don't have the deep threat, so why? Auburn receivers, I'm not going to say we're getting open, but there was room.
Right.
But the quarterback play wasn't there.
I mean, now, we said we wasn't necessarily going to dabble into this, but the receiver coach, they fired him, evidently. Obviously, they fired him.
It was obvious, yeah.
But here's my thing. Why would you fire a coach 4 weeks in when, to me, like, as much as I watch college football, I don't know a single wide receiver off the top of my head for Auburn that is just a absolute playmaker. Go
Well,
getter.
that's interesting. So,
I mean, to me, and this guy was a great guy.
You lost Anthony Schwartz last year. You lost Eli Stowe. So you lost a lot of your playmakers there. And I think the total returning yards percentage-wise was like 15%.
Yeah.
Was the returning production.
But is that on the coach or is that on the player?
What's a new coach? And then the players are stepping up. You got Cedric Jackson.
I'm saying this in the coach that was fired as defense. Is that going to be on him or is that on the players? I mean, to me, you got to find that breakout guy. And is that?
Well, I think they tried to find that breakout guy with Demetrius Robertson, but he's been hurt. He was hurt.
Yeah.
So he's expected to play this weekend versus LSU. I don't know. It's hard. That's a complicated situation. I hate it for the guy. Obviously, I don't want anyone fired. That's somebody
for sure.
family.
I mean, and this guy's got accolades everywhere. So.
Yeah, that's the name of the business. He's a Alabama guy, from what I understand. He came from Troy. So best of luck to him. It is what it is. Eric Keesaw, may pronounce that wrong, but he's a Boise guy. He was offensive coordinator, wide receivers coach up there. So we'll see how it goes.
He stepped up in the role and moved on.
Yeah.
So that's what it is, coaching. You got to put out or get out, basically. I mean, that's how it is. But I mean, I think that's pretty much all we got.
I mean, I would give a shout out to Cedric Jackson and Kobe Hudson for their play, especially the game-winning catch with Cedric Jackson.
Well, if you want to give shout outs, then I want to shout out Bryce Young because at one point he was 20 for 22, and he's for 300 something yards, I believe. I could be wrong on that stat, 200 something maybe. But either way, it was still crazy. And one drop pass. I think it was a drop pass. It may have been an incomplete out of bounds throw, and the other one was a interception off the fingertips that should have been caught. But it is what it is. I mean, shout out to him. Big games for him too. But thanks guys for watching the video, man. This is our review of what happened in the week 4 games. Southern Miss and
closer than anticipated. So it is what it is. I'll take a W no matter how ugly it gets. War Eagle.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks guys. Roll Tide
and War Eagle.